2. The night the Pride Lands fell silent was the night courage learned how to roar. The moon hung low and pale, as if afraid to climb higher, and the wind carried a warning that no one wanted to hear. Even before danger showed its face, the land itself seemed to hold its breath. Somewhere beyond the horizon, something dark was moving, and the Pride Lands could feel it. Keon stood at the edge of Pride Rock, his eyes scanning the shadows below. The roar of the elders rested inside him like a sleeping storm, powerful but uneasy. He had felt this before, that strange tightening in his chest when the circle of life trembled. Tonight, it felt stronger. Tonight, it felt personal. Tonight, it felt personal. Behind him, the Lion Guard gathered, each sensing the same unease, fully paced back and forth, her tail flicking sharply. Bunga tried to joke, but even his voice lacked its usual confidence. Besh stood quietly, watching the sky, while Ono adjusted his position to get a better view of the darkening plains. "This isn't normal," Fuli finally said. "The night feels wrong." Keon nodded. "Stay sharp, whatever's coming. We face it together." Far away, beyond the outlands, glowing eyes flickered in the darkness. Whispers crawled through the night air, carried by creatures that thrived on fear. An ancient enemy long thought defeated was stirring again, and it had learned something new. It had learned patience. The first sign of attack was not a roar or a scream, but silence. The insects stopped singing. The wind died. Even the stars seemed to dim. Then, without warning, a thunderous crack echoed across the land as fire erupted near the watering hole. "The Pride Lands!" Bunga shouted. The Lion Guard sprinted into action, their paws pounding against the earth. As they reached the plains, chaos unfolded before them. Flames licked the grass, smoke curling into the sky, and animals scattered in panic. Capes moved through the fire, fast and deliberate. "Hyenas," Folly said, narrowing her eyes. But not like before. These hyenas didn't laugh, they didn't taunt. They moved with discipline, spreading destruction with terrifying precision. At their center stood a tall, shadowed figure, his voice low and commanding. "Divide 'em," the voice ordered. "Break their hope." Keon stepped forward. "Lion Guard. Protect the Pride Lands." The battle exploded into motion. Fuli darted through the smoke, knocking attackers aside with blinding speed. Besh charged forward, shielding a group of zebras as rocks crashed harmlessly against his massive frame. Ono soared above, calling out warnings, while Bunga leapt fearlessly into danger, laughing louder than fear itself. But something was wrong. For every enemy they stopped, 2 more appeared. The shadows seemed endless, feeding off confusion and smoke. "Keon Ono!" cried from above. "They're surrounding us!" Kion felt it then, the weight of responsibility pressing harder than ever. This wasn't just a fight. This was a test. Who opened his mouth to summon the roar, but hesitated. The power inside him churned, unsettled, as if resisting release. The darkness around them pulsed, reacting to his hesitation. The shadowed leader stepped forward, his eyes glowing with cold intelligence. "Ah, the little king," he said calmly. "Still learning what courage costs." "Who are you?" Keon demanded. The figure smiled. "Someone who knows that heroes break before they fall." With a sharp signal, the ground beneath Keon cracked open. Separating him from the rest of the guard, smoke surged upward, cutting off sight and sound. "Keon!" Buli screamed. "Keon, do something!" Bunga shouted. Alone in the darkness, Keon steadied his breathing. Fear clawed at him, but beneath it burned something stronger. Theo. He remembered Mufasa's teachings, Simba's faith. the voices of the great kings of the past. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the choice to stand anyway. He unleashed the roar. The shockwave tore through the smoke, blasting shadows aside and shaking the earth. Fire dimmed. The enemy staggered. For a moment, hope surged like sunlight breaking through storm clouds. But the shadowed leader remained standing. "Good," he said quietly. "Very good. Now you're ready to lose." The ground trembled again as dark energy surged from the leader's claws. Colliding with the fading echo of the roar, Kion was thrown backward, skidding across the dirt. The Lion Guard regrouped around him, battered but unbroken. They stood together, backs touching, eyes forward. "This is just the beginning," the leader said, retreating into the darkness. "Big Bride lands. We'll remember this night." As the enemy vanished, the fires slowly died, leaving scorched earth and shaken hearts behind. The Pride lands still stood, but the cost was clear. Kayan looked at his team, at the fear in their eyes and the trust behind it. He understood now. This battle wasn't about strength alone. Too, it was about courage. Then, the darkest night had only just begun. The dawn that followed the darkest night brought no comfort, only questions. Smoke still clung to the air like a bad memory that refused to fade, and the Pride lands felt quieter than ever before. Animals emerged slowly from hiding, their eyes filled with fear and disbelief. The land had survived the attack, but something precious had been shaken. Trust. Safety. Hope. Kion stood where the fire scars cut through the grass, staring at the ground as if it might speak back to him. The roar of the elders stirred inside his chest, restless and uncertain, like it no longer recognized the world around it. He had used its power, but it hadn't been enough. For the first time since becoming leader of the Lion Guard, that thought frightened him more than any enemy. "We stopped them," Bunga said, trying to sound cheerful. "That's what counts, right?" Fully didn't answer. She was watching the horizon, tense, every muscle ready to move. "They didn't come to win," she finally said. "They came to test us." Besht lowered his head. "To scare everyone." Ono fluttered down from above, his eyes unusually serious. "I've been flying patrols since sunrise." There are tracks everywhere. Organized. Planned. This wasn't random. Kaon nodded slowly, said, "This was just the beginning." Silence followed. Not the peaceful kind, but the heavy silence that settles after something breaks. Back at Pride Rock, Simba listened as Kion explained everything. The shadows. The leader. The way the darkness seemed to push back against the roar itself. As Kion spoke, Simba's expression grew more troubled. "This enemy understands fear," Simba said at last. "And fear spreads faster than fire." Nala stepped forward. "A pride is afraid. Simba, cubs, harassing at the Lion Guard can still protect them." The words hit Kion harder than any blow. Protect them. That was his purpose. That was his promise. "I won't let them down," Kayan said quietly. Simba placed a paw on his shoulder. "Courage doesn't mean you won't doubt yourself. It means you keep standing when you do." A shah cry echoed across the plains, followed by the pounding of paws. A young antelope burst into view, breathless and terrified. "They're back!" she cried. "At the borders, everywhere." The Lion Guard didn't hesitate. They ran. This time, the attack was different. No fire, no chaos. Instead, the enemy struck with precision, isolating small groups, driving wedges between herds, spreading panic faster than flames ever could. Wherever fear grew, shadows followed. Keon fully shouted as she skidded to a stop beside him. "They're splitting us up on purpose," the shadowed leader's voice carried across the land, calm and confident. "You cannot protect everyone at once, little king. So choose." At his signal, the battlefield fractured. To the east, a group of elephants was driven toward a narrow ravine. To the west, gazelles were cornered near the riverbank. To the south, hyenas closed in on defenseless warthogs. Kyan's heart raced. Lion Guard split up. But Bunga began. "We don't have a choice," Kyan said. "Save as many as you can." They scattered, each racing toward danger. Kyan charged toward the ravine, the roar building inside him as the ground trembled beneath stampeding elephants. He shouted, releasing a controlled blast that diverted the herd just enough to prevent disaster. Relief was brief. A wave of darkness surged from the ravine walls, slamming into him and knocking him off his feet. The shadowed leader emerged. Closer now, his eyes burning brighter. "You feel it, don't you?" "Theta," said doubt weakens even the strongest roar. Keon pushed himself up. "I won't let you destroy the Pride Lands." The leader smiled. "You don't have to. Fear will do it for me." Ater, elsewhere, fully moved faster than ever before, saving gazelles by the narrowest margins. Yet for every victory, she saw another group fleeing in terror. Besht held the riverbank alone, shielding the warthogs, his strength tested as never before. Ono's warnings grew frantic, his voice strained as danger multiplied. And Bunga, separated from the others, found himself surrounded for the first time. Bunga didn't laugh. He stood his ground, shaking but determined. "You wanna fight?" He yelled. "Come get it!" The shadows closed in. At Pride Rock, Simba felt it. Fear. The land cried out, and the cry went unanswered. The Lion Guard was stretched too thin. This was what the enemy wanted. Back. At the ravine, Keon summoned the roar again, pouring everything into it. The blast tore through the darkness, scattering shadows like leaves in a storm. The leader staggered back, surprised. For a moment, hope flared. Then the roar faded completely. Kyan froze. The power inside him went silent, leaving only emptiness behind. His eyes widened. He tried again. Nothing. The leader laughed softly. "She think courage alone was enough?" he said. "Power must be believed in to exist." Panic surged, but Keon forced it down. He wasn't just the roar. He was a leader. He ran. Without the roar, he relied on speed, instinct, and heart. He raised Bunga, just as the shadows closed in, throwing himself between them. "Back off!" Keon roared, even without power. Something unexpected happened. The shadows hesitated. Bunga stared at him, shocked. "Keon, you came back." "Wait," Keon said. Across the Pride Lands, the Lion Guard regrouped, battered and exhausted, but alive. The enemy withdrew once more, fading into the land as if they had never been there. The Pride Lands stood, but barely. As night approached, again Keon looked out over the savannah, fear heavy in his chest. The roar was gone. The enemy was learning, and the next attack would be worse. Far beyond the borders, the shadowed leader watched the fading light and smiled. "Now," he whispered, "the real battle begins." The third night fell faster than the first two, as if the sun itself no longer wished to linger over the Pride Lands. Clouds swallowed the stars, and the moon hid behind them, leaving the savannah wrapped in uneasy darkness. Fires were lit across the plains, not for warmth, but for comfort. Even the bravest animals stayed close together, listening for sounds that might signal another attack. Kion stood alone near Pride Rock, staring at his paws. He opened his mouth again, willing the roar to answer him, but only silence returned. The power that once surged so naturally now felt distant, like an old friend who no longer recognized him. Fear crept into his thoughts, but worse than fear was doubt. If I cannot roar, can I still lead? Behind him, soft footsteps approached. "You're thinking too loudly," Fully said, sitting beside him. "I can almost hear it." Kayan tried to smile, but failed. "I lost it. Fully. The roar. What if I lose everything else too?" Fully's eyes softened. "You didn't lose us. And you didn't lose your courage. That matters more than any power." "Before Kayon could reply, Ono swooped down, urgency in his voice. Movement at the eastern border. Not an attack. A gathering. Simba's ears pricked as he joined them. What kind of gathering? Ono hesitated. Different animals. Predators and prey. Together, that alone was enough to send tension rippling through the Pride Lands. Such a gathering had not happened in generations, not without conflict. Kion straightened, resolve flickering inside him. "We have to see this," he said. They moved carefully, silently, until they reached a wide clearing bathed in torchlight. What they saw made Kion's breath catch. Lion stood beside antelope. Buffalo beside cheetahs. Fearful eyes watched one another, but none moved to attack. To center stood the shadowed leader. "You see." His voice carried smoothly. "Fear has already united you. Not as friends, but as survivors." Simba stepped forward, his roar echoing through the clearing. "You dare bring your lies into my lands?" The leader turned calmly. "King Simba, you rule through balance. I rule through truth. And the truth is this: your circle of life is breaking." Murmurs spread through the crowd. "The Lion Guard failed to stop us," the leader continued. "And when fear rules, old rules no longer matter." Kaon felt every eye shift toward him. His chest tightened, but he stepped forward anyway. "You're wrong," Kion said. "The circle of life isn't broken. You're trying to break it." The leader tilted his head. "Without your roar, what are you?" The words cut deep. Kion closed his eyes for a brief moment, then opened them with steady calm. "I'm still Kion, and I still protect the Pride Lands." Something changed in the air. The shadows around the leader flickered, uncertain. For the first time, his confidence wavered. "Enough," Simba said. "Leave now." The leader smiled thinly. Soon, with a sweeping motion, darkness surged outward, not as an attack, but as a wall of fear. Animals panicked, scattering into the night. When the darkness faded, the leader was gone. The damage, however, was done. By morning, division spread faster than fire ever had. Herds refused to share grazing lands. Predators hunted closer to borders, desperate and afraid. Trust crumbled piece by piece, Sisma Fult, Kian whispered later, watching arguments break out across the plains. "No," Simba said firmly. "This enemy is clever. He attacks belief, not belief." The night had never felt heavier. Shadows twisted unnaturally across the Pride Lands, stretching like dark fingers trying to choke the light. The animals hid, trembling, as the wind carried an unnatural chill. Even the stars seemed to have fled the sky, leaving only a black canvas pierced by flashes of lightning. The final battle had begun. Kion stood at Pride Rock's edge, the Lion Guard assembled behind him. Every member was battered, exhausted, yet unbroken. They had survived trials that would have crushed lesser hearts, and now they faced the enemy himself. The shadowed leader stepped into the clearing, eyes glowing, darkness curling around him like a living storm. "You think you can stop me?" the leader hissed. "I am the fear that lives in every heart. Without courage, your pride lands will fall." Keon's chest tightened, doubt flickering. He had no roar, yet he forced himself to stand tall. "You're wrong. Courage isn't power. It's choice. And we choose to protect our home." The enemy laughed, a low sound that echoed through the plains. "Words are meaningless here." Then, with a sweep of his paw, he sent a wave of darkness across the land. Trees snapped. Dust and smoke filled the air. Herds panicked. The Lion Guard braced, moving together as one. Fully darted forward, deflecting attacks with unmatched speed. Best shielded fleeing zebras and antelopes. Bunga leaped, fearless, drawing attention away from the weaker animals. Ono flew overhead, guiding the scattered herds back to safety. Kian advanced alone, his paws steady despite the storm around him. The leader's eyes locked on him. "Without your roar, you are nothing." Kian met the gaze, calm, unwavering. "I am everything that stands for the Pride Lands." The leader lunged, claws extended, darkness trailing every movement. Kaon dodged, rolling across the ground, and realized something. The enemy had grown arrogant, believing fear alone could win. But the Lion Guard was more than fear. They were trust, loyalty, love for the land and every creature in it. Kaon charged, not with power, but with strategy and heart. 2. He drew the leader away from the trapped animals, guiding him toward open ground. Fully beshed, Bunga and Ono flanked him, moving as one. Every attack was anticipated, every move coordinated. The enemy's advantage shrank with every second. "You fight well," the leader said, gritting his teeth. "But fear always returns, in." "So does courage," Kaon shot back, his eyes blazing. "We fight for each other." The words struck something in the shadowed figure. His attacks faltered, his darkness flickering. The Lion Guard pressed forward, not recklessly, but with determination. They protected each other, backed each other, and showed the strength of unity against a force built on division. Finally, Kaon stood before him, paw raised at ends here. The enemy roared, a sound that shook the ground. Shadows surged, threatening to swallow the Lion Guard. Kaon's instincts screamed, and in a split second, he acted. He leaped, moving with a precision born of countless battles, and struck the enemy with everything he had, not with a roar, but with courage and unwavering heart. The darkness shattered, cracking like glass. The shadowed leader stumbled, his glow dimming. With a final roar of defiance, Kaon pushed forward, showing that even without power, courage could overwhelm fear. The leader fell back, defeated, vanishing into nothingness, leaving the plains quiet once more. The animals emerged cautiously from hiding. Zebras, antelopes, elephants, and even lions of neighboring prides stepped into the light. The Pride Lands were safe. For now, the ground was scarred, the fires smoldering, but life remained. Kayan turned to the Lion Guard, pride swelling in his chest. "We did it. Together, fully." Besht Bunga and Ono smiled, tired but triumphant. They had faced the darkest night and survived not because of strength alone, but because they had each other. At Pride Rock, Simba and Nala watched from above. Simba lowered his head, pride and relief in his eyes. "You have done well, Kion. You have learned that leadership is more than power. It is heart, courage, and unity." Kion nodded. I couldn't have done it without them, more without you." Nay, fell fully. But this time, it was peaceful. Stars returned, sparkling like scattered diamonds across the sky. The moon rose, casting gentle light over the Pride Lands. And a breeze carried the scent of fresh grass, healing, and hope. Kaon sat on the edge of Pride Rock, looking out over the plains he had fought so hard to protect. The Lion Guard gathered behind him, tired, happy, and whole. Together, they had faced fear and darkness, and together, they had triumphed. "The Pride Lands are safe," Kian whispered, almost to himself. "And we will always protect them." From the distant horizon came the first roar of the restored roar of the elders, echoing through the valleys and plains, a sign that courage, love, and unity would always endure. The Lion Guard had faced their darkest battle, too, and they had emerged stronger, proving that true bravery comes not from power, but from heart. And so, the Pride Lands slept peacefully that night, knowing that their guardians led by Kaon and the Lion Guard would always be there, ready to face any darkness, any fear, and any challenge. The legend of their courage, loyalty, an unbreakable spirit would echo for generations, inspiring every heart that beat in the Pride Lands. The darkest battle had ended, but the roar of courage would never fade.